All right, here we go. Podcast attempt. Yeah, I'm here, Costa Rica. This is my last night in Costa Rica. I'm just finishing up 6 weeks. Staying at Casa de Trip, my buddy Chris Tripp. Right in the Central Pacific region. He's got a little villa tucked away in the jungle, and it's just a great place to come and heal and get clarity in your mind and just really work on yourself. And there's a great energy here. There's a fantastic supportive community of people that are just very welcoming into their community of outsiders, and just very encouraging for people to look inward and just kind of do things that, for me, coming from Virginia, are very weird and looked at just kind of as like nutty, almost taboo to talk about because it's not fully understood. And hey, what's up, buddy?
What is going on?
And so I'm just super excited. Like, I had a phenomenal amount of personal growth, I feel. Not to kind of like brag on myself, but like we feel like we really did good work. By we, I mean like you helped me a bunch, and like Mika and just everyone just kind of spit knowledge all the time and sharing and showing me Rich Roll, and his story is just so inspirational. If you could just give them a quick rundown as to who Rich Roll is.
Rich Roll is a heavy endurance athlete. He decided to, they hooked up with a couple people, maybe from her yoga class at random, for to join the team, and they did it. They just winged it and flew out to the competition and became his team, but he won. That's the thing, At age 40, he turned
Beat the pros.
Yeah, and at that, I mean, he went vegan, and he's a vegan endurance athlete, but he started a podcast as well.
That's becoming a much more and more popular thing, which blows my mind. I paid a lot of money to study the top peak nutrition in Virginia Tech, and personal health, and just all the different courses. And what I learned 5 years ago now is just completely outdated and irrelevant, and a lot of it turned out to be just complete bullshit. And the biggest thing I would say is that whole, you gotta eat meat to get the protein, like that. Just no other sources of protein can compare to the efficiency of absorbing meat, and muscle becomes muscle. It just makes sense, and it's just ridiculous when you look at the top.
Salute.
Thank you. Salute. Top athletes in the world are all shifting towards a plant-based diet, and it's not like back, even 10 years ago. With technology now, we know the nutrients, and we know the amino acid scores, and we know all the breakdowns of just every single veggie on the planet. You can take those symphony of amino acids, and they're not even protein complexes yet, when you eat a piece of meat, like a red meat, it's got to sit in your stomach and break protein down into amino acids so it can flow through your bloodstream, and then reassemble those amino acids, the building blocks, into protein structures. Whereas if you're just absorbing the aminos from broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, these are all very high protein containing vegetables. It just creates a symphony that's low inflammation, super easy on your immune system and your digestive system to absorb and fuel your body. And a real standout thing for me is Nick and Nate Diaz. These are two tough, badass motherfuckers. And for them to say, we're competing at the highest level of MMA in the UFC, and 30 days out from a fight, they go to strictly plant-based diet so that they can perform more optimally in such an aggressive, technical, precise driven sport. you know,
And the cut weight.
Yeah.
Too.
It's
combined effort. But even aside from them, Mac Danzig is a known vegan athlete. Yeah, he's good. I mean, and he's 24/7 vegan. So he's a guy to check out. He was in Forks and Knives. That was the
Forks Over Knives.
Forks Over Knives.
Yeah, that
Forks and Knives.
for me, that was one documentary that really changed my life. I'd like to watch it again. You know, right now when I go back. You know, it's one of those things that just has such a major impact on you that it's gonna make you make some radical life changes. So I don't know, and it was in a good way. It wasn't like one of those like gory things where you're like, oh, you know, like I think animal mistreatment is horrific and shouldn't be done, but you know, like
that's a China study though.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. It wasn't like that, you know. It was more like, whoa, this is just like straight up the facts. You know, eating, you know, this amount, this quantity of meat that we've never had access to in our life. We just, as humans, like, it's not that it's good or bad. You know, it's just we haven't evolved yet to handle this amount of meat, this amount of bread, this amount of abundance. Like, our machine is getting clogged up and breaking down. And they just as black and white, plain truth as you can see, they show you the facts, the data, and you can decide for yourself. For me, it was just so cool to see the other vegan athletes in there that were like, oh, you know, I was meat eater, and then I was pescatarian, and then, you know, I realized my workouts I was recovering faster and able to train harder for longer and better endurance, and you know, for them to make the leap to full vegan and say that he even went up another level, it's mind blowing. You know, the day I watched that movie, you had been not eating meat because you watched it maybe 3 weeks before. You told me about it. Yeah, and were you doing the paleo diet with me before I left? Me and Mika were.
Yeah, you came and prepared some meals, but no, I wasn't with it.
Oh, I was
it
preaching.
Was within a week or two.
It was, yeah. And I mean, this is like, you know, pretty much what I learned at Virginia Tech as far as like one of the highest concepts of, you know, current, you know, studies that are done with as far as like athletes and training, and it made sense. You know, paleo diet is the tribal diet. It's what you can find in the jungle. You have a knife and a spear, so you know it's gonna be in the proper ratio. So a lot more shellfish and fish is ideal because that's what's super accessible. Small birds, and then you know you go into your larger game is rare because there's not just, you know, like pigs running around the jungle every day to eat. So that would be found in moderation. But, you know, try to eat meat with every meal, and then also vegetables and fruits. So whatever you can gather as well. That's the paleo diet or the Paleolithic diet. And I was just really like preaching, like, this is it, this is the answer, this is the one. Everything else, you know, that I did before was wrong. And then it's just so funny that, you know, I watched one documentary, learn like the next level, and everything I was talking about was wrong. You know, and well, I mean, it's just not the highest level. So I was wrong. The diet's not wrong. I just think that there is a superior diet, and
yeah, there's self-experimentation involved.
Of course,
circumstantial, you know, from person to person, but you just have to try things within limits and see how it feels.
For me, I went almost more on an even emotional level. Like, I wanted to figure out how I feel when this sacrifice takes place, you know. So I spent some time just doing like outings with friends and stuff, and like videotaping, wearing helmet cams, and you know, the rules were simple. We called it the Mampionships of the world originally. It was just, you're allowed a knife, a spear, a snorkel, and a surfboard, of course. And you had to wear your helmet cam, you know, and so you could film the hunt and, you know, underwater and spear fishing and all that good stuff. And I realized that anytime I was taking the life of a mammal, it was extremely emotional for me. I don't mean crying. I mean like what my heart felt when my hands were, because we didn't use guns. You know, like personally, I think guns are cheating. You know, like at least I think that this is a much more noble way. And this is just what I believe. I think this is a more noble way to capture your food if it has a chance to run. It had a chance to, you know, grow up and live a life and be in the wild. Maybe it bred, maybe it didn't. You know, I don't know. But you know, it had the chance to escape, and you know, like that's the cycle of life. And for me, I really wanted to just enter into it, get a taste of what it was, so I knew. I was hoping that it would have some kind of profound effect, or maybe like a little more respect for what I was eating, you know, and the sacrifice. And it really hit me hard on an emotional level. Some of these animals are like super, super beautiful. And, you know, for me, I'm just an animal lover. I like super love dogs primarily, you know, but like I always grew up, you know, breeding parrots and sugar gliders, and, you know, I love animals, so it was like super hard to, sugar gliders? You know what those are?
Yeah, sure.
It's well, technically it's a marsupial, so they have a kangaroo pouch,
Okay.
but they look like they're flying squirrels.
So that one.
But they're not squirrels, they're marsupials, yeah.
Muscipalms, that one.
No, that's a marmoset.
Marmoset, okay.
Yeah, I shared a bowl of oatmeal with that marmoset.
Yeah.
He likes the cacao chocolate.
That's
It's ridiculous. There's all kinds of monkeys over here. That's actually a marmoset. That's not even from this country. Somebody illegally brought him in. And he's cool. He just like hangs out.
Yeah.
You know? We got some good footage with him. But yeah, so back to the for me when I was taking the life of a mammal, it was like you know, the noises, the emotion, like it's crazy the mindset you go into because you want to be as merciful as possible. As bad as you do feel, you have to get more savage and more in tune with your killer side, like full killer. Like, how can I kill this thing the fastest? If I just stab it, you know, in the throat, it's not going to kill it as fast as if I, you know, cut into its chest and stab it in the heart, which are just savage thoughts that I've never, ever in my life thought these things before, and they have to enter my mind because if I don't react quickly, you know, it's just putting this thing through like unnecessary misery, and I just want to be as merciful as possible. So it's just crazy back and forth with like I'm doing this savage thing, but because I want, you know, and it's just this crazy game in your mind that I really don't feel like I should be playing. And you know, yoga philosophy teaches at the highest level. You know, you practice nonviolence in all actions. So as far as the book goes on that one, that's, you know, a big no-no, but for me, like, I had to experience it myself, whereas, as unfair as it may be or may not, you know, when I'm fishing, I don't feel, you know, and I have a tremendous respect for the animal, just, you know, the taking the life and the cleaning process. For me, emotionally, I feel more in tune with what I'm supposed to be, and it just feels right, you know, there's nothing holding me back or restricting, and so, you know, wow, pescatarian is the highest. But really, like today, things are getting a little complicated with, you know, the mercury and the tuna, and you know, Fukushima radiation. You know, who knows what's going on with that?
Yeah, there's so many factors. I think the simple fact that was conveyed, I'll cite the Ultramind solution. Check out that book and also audio book. But what's the number one most toxic element on the planet Earth?
Plutonium.
Yeah, so plutonium's number one, and I mean that's the whole planet of Earth. Number two is mercury, and that's what's in. I mean that's what you're hearing in tuna, but it's
swordfish.
Really, yeah, the large fish.
Marlin.
Yeah.
You know, high country. It's called biomagnification. You can Google it. I'm not going to give a biology lesson here, but you know, it's the larger game fish, and it's not something to just kind of turn a blind eye to anymore because
Trace amounts.
yeah, well, we need to stop turning a blind eye and like wake up and snap out of it because cancer rates. Like, I'm not trying to be a downer here, but like cancer rates are out of control, and this, people need to just
Is that
snap
attributed
out of
to
it.
Cancer, the mercury.
No, I'm saying we don't know. Like, I mean,
Different.
yeah. This whole thing of like, well, we haven't proven that this causes cancer. We haven't proven that that causes cancer. Well, currently, the statistics as of 2013 that I just found on WebMD, 1 in 2 male adults, if they're American, are going to experience cancer in their lifetime, and 1 in 3 women. That's like crazy scary. Crazy scary,
You or me, yeah, you or I.
Well, I think it's kind of skewed, because like we happen to be 2 people that are like on a mission to not, not even
but-
like on a mission to not, because
but
you don't
on
want to be,
average,
you want to be on a mission to be healthy, not to like avoid something. Your mission is always focused on a positive mindset. So we want to be healthy into our 40s and 50s, and it's not that we want to not age. We want to age well, and so we can live lives like Slater and
Yeah, I mean, we're talking
Papa
about
G. People that are like living into their 60s and just still surfing Playa Hermosa, and man, there was a guy in the water surfing the other day, 72, and on a longboard, but like you're having a blast, catching waves, good wave count, and to me that's just so freeing that I can just kind of like I don't have to stress like, oh, I'm 27, this is the peak, this is it, like, oh my god, from here it's downhill, because like for most people that seems to be the case. Like, their adventure gets lost from their life as they get super strapped into whatever obligations, like may come through. But
they forget how to play.
yeah,
Like
that's exactly it. That book. Have you read the book Play?